Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Project Lemons to Lemonade. Our next guest is a partner at one of the largest accounting firms in North America. He's the technology leader for Canada, and his next triathlon is the Ironman in Penticton. We're not sure if he's going to make it. Please welcome Terry Booth from RSM Accounting. Hi, Terry. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, really good. Really good. Thank you for joining us today. And tell me a little bit about your triathlon in Penticton. So it's in August, so you're kind of in trouble.
I'm kind of in trouble, yeah. With pools closed, my swim training is not going exactly well, but luckily running and biking meet the social distancing requirements. So I'm still getting outside and getting some running and have done, now that the weather's turned a little bit better in Calgary, I've been out on my bike a whole bunch
Right.
last week.
What are people asking you right now about our current situation?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of questions around. A lot of them really are, how do I survive through the downturn? What we've been doing is trying to get our clients to really think about what their clientele that they've had historically, what they really need in this world, as opposed to what they might have needed 6 months ago. And if there really is a way to continue to operate your business, but maybe with a different twist. So we're certainly working on that a lot. We're also working with a lot of our clients that are having challenges getting the materials and the supplies that they need. So thinking through supply chain. So if you have, we have a number of companies that are actually hardware companies that most of their hardware was coming out of China and have run into problems, but we've been working with them trying to find local suppliers, which is obviously a win-win. Is if you can find a local supplier to help you out, that means two companies are better off in this crisis.
That's right. That's right. And in terms of strategy, what kinds of things, or is there anything that you can generally say that people can do in their own companies?
No, because it really depends on the company and what the impacts are of this environment. I honestly, I have a couple of companies that are actually booming because they happen to have a product that is in demand in this scenario. But you really have to take a look and be realistic around, what is my product line? What do my customers need? And if there's a mismatch now, then can I fix that mismatch, or do I have to look at reducing my operations? And so, we are also spending a lot of time on that around how do you restructure your operations to manage through the downturn. So being accountants, we spend a lot of time with our clients doing cash flows and trying to figure out what the next 6 to 9 months look like with the significant changes in operations.
This is a great time to sit with your accountant and make some strategies around it and possibly make a new budget. Whatever your budget was, starting January is going to be totally different. And that's what we're seeing for a lot of companies right now.
100%. I think almost every company out there, if they did have a cash flow projection that they developed in the fall, that just has to be thrown out the window.
Yeah.
And so you really are starting over. And what we're seeing from our standpoint is just spending a lot of time with companies around what expenses do they really have to continue to make, and which ones are really discretionary given the current environment, and trying to help clients with strategies around that.
Mm-hmm. And in our market, like in our world, we set budgets with our clients and help them plan year-long budgets for their marketing campaigns. And now we have like the COVID budget, right? Or like the COVID plan. And then we have to like have some kind of a touch point to trigger the post-COVID era plan.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing something similar? We're like, this is what we're doing right now, and this is kind of what the money looks like. And then after, it might look like this, but we have to totally kind of go with the flow.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we don't know how the COVID budget, how long it even needs to be. I think, most of our clients were looking at a 6 to 9 month COVID budget. But we are having a lot of discussions right now on what happens when this crisis is over and how do you ramp up again. Unfortunately, a lot of our clients are laying off some of their staff, and there's just no guarantee that those staff are going to be there when start to ramp back up. So you do need to think about those things as you go through the crisis. And, some of the things that we've talked to our clients about is, I think your staff, if you have to lay them off, are absolutely understand why that has to happen. But you also need to keep in contact with them around what your plans are and when you think you're going to ramp back up. So
yes,
just managing your HR through the whole thing, even if you've had to make those hard decisions, is by far the most important piece.
exactly. And what we've been coaching our clients on is painting the vision for the staff. So even if you have to let somebody go, kind of paint the vision of how you see it coming back again, so that they have confidence in you and your company, and they're not, thinking about, well, what are my other options? What could I be doing with my life? Because everybody's in a moment of like, what should I be doing with my life?
Yeah, I think they're all out developing food delivery services.
Yeah. Yeah. So on to some lighter stuff, Terry. You have 150 staff at your accounting firm, and you now have had to move everybody into a virtual environment. So that's a big undertaking. And tell us a little bit about how you've done that and some of the fun things that you guys have come up with.
Yeah, we've been really lucky that we were designed to work remotely before the crisis. So technology has not been an issue. We can all work from home. But we realized, because we work in teams, the most important part for us is more the human touch and the HR pieces. So we're trying to do things that will keep our employees all engaged and working as teams. So some of the things that we're doing is, we do video conferences on a daily basis with our staff. And the last video conference I was on, a couple of my partners dressed up in Halloween costumes. So I had a video conference today with Elvis. We're also doing, we're using our instant messenger system to keep groups together. So I have a group of mentees that I work with that we sort of have a topic every day. So we were talking today about what music everybody was listening to while they were working at home, and sharing some of the really bad music choices that we were making in our offices. So just those little pieces to make sure that you're reaching out and talking to your staff on a regular basis, and not just by email. I think part of the issue when you are working remotely is that you tend to just do the really task-focused emails, and it's important to do the non-task focused things, and ask how everybody's family is coping and how they're dealing with the social isolation and everything else. So
Yeah.
we're trying to do a good mix of having some fun with each other while trying to get some work done.
Exactly. And I think when I started my company and decided to make it all virtual, that was the biggest thing for me, is not just being work oriented, but making it like having company culture in there. So we worked really hard on making sure that everybody's acknowledged as a person, because you could kind of lose that when you're behind a computer and your leaders aren't making an extra effort to keep like human conversations going, right? Instead of just only asking for accounting stuff. Where's that paper? That's the only time my boss ever talks to me.
Well, it's so true, and even in our world, we've always used video conference capabilities, but most of the partners especially had the video turned off. So we just a couple of weeks ago just said, hey, you know what? When you're doing conference calls, just turn your video on so people can see you. Nobody cares if you've got dirty laundry in the background.
Yeah, we're all in the same situation.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. If your dog licks your camera, it's fine.
Yeah. If the kids run in,
yeah.
Like we're all in this. Yeah, the whole world is at home.
Yeah. So just those little pieces to just I think to make sure your staff all know that you're there and you care, and that you're human too, and your wife comes in and brings you tea in the middle of a conference call, that's completely fine. So I think we're doing okay on that. It took us a while to get there, and I'd actually have to say we're spending more time on those social interactions than we are on our how to make our technology work.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing with us today, Terry.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.